Well, Disney and Marvel have a major problem, or should I say a Jonathan Majors problem. The big bad for Marvel's new Kang saga, Jonathan Majors, the actor, was found guilty of 2 out of 4 charges of domestic violence for assaulting his then-girlfriend following 3 days of deliberation in his New York trial. Majors was also found guilty of assault by recklessly causing physical injury, as well as harassment. Now, Majors did not testify in his own defense and initially pleaded not guilty. Following the verdict, Disney Marvel reportedly dropped the actor, though no official statement has been made yet. This is set to cause issues in the up till a few films ago financial juggernaut that was the MCU. As The Hollywood Reporter wrote, before his March arrest, Majors was slated to be the key figure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the Disney-owned studio building its entire current story arc around Majors' Kang the Conqueror, their next big villain. The time traveler factored into this year's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, as well as both seasons of Loki, and was going to lead Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, slated for May 1st, 2026.
But while some were happy to see Majors was out at Marvel, others were quick to compare how Majors was treated to a similar case of superhero shenanigans, or something quite a bit more than that. Ezra Miller, who played the Flash in DC's Justice League films, was arrested last year on charges of abuse, grooming, and kidnapping, yet his solo feature was still released in theaters, albeit to a middling reception. Some online viewed this as hypocritical. One user on X posted, "Cool, understandable, so how come Warner Brothers didn't fire Ezra Miller?" All right. So what, should we just take the Kang stuff, the Jonathan Majors stuff
first? We'll come back to Ezra Miller in a minute. Yes, so this is not, I would say, not fantastic developments for Marvel, because they had really built him up. Jonathan Majors playing Kang the Conqueror, who, because now the Marvel Cinematic Universe involves time travel and also multiple universes, like there's different versions of all the characters, and some characters can travel between these dimensions, and Kang, in his various formats, was supposed to be the next big bad. So it's not even Jonathan Majors playing like one character, it's him playing like an infinite number of characters across the multiverse, some of which have figured in already. So they, spoilers for the third Ant-Man movie, like they killed off that one. But the idea is there's a million more of that guy on the way.
I'm not as devoted as you are to these franchises. I'm not as knowledgeable as you are. But I find myself struggling to remember has he already played a role in these movies?
So he was in Ant-Man, the third Ant-Man movie, which you probably didn't see, and he was in both seasons of the Loki television show. So the Loki television show is very good, especially compared to most of the post-Endgame stuff. And look, I will say this. So I think they should actually just move on, not just drop Jonathan Majors, but actually move on from this character.
And he's a villain.
He's supposed to be the next big villain. Like Thanos was the big villain.
I see.
And he was supposed to be the next kind of Thanos. But frankly, and again, stop watching if you've not seen the second season of Loki and intend to. The second season of Loki actually wraps up his character in a perfectly satisfying way. I don't think they necessarily planned it. I think they absolutely did think they were going to bring back other versions of this character. But they end season 2 of Loki in a way where, like, the threat of Kang is now well known to a team of 2 superheroes and powerful people, and they're like monitoring the situation and ready to stop in to prevent him from, because the idea is that he's like the timeline was being maintained so that he never comes into existence.
This is why I gave up on
But now they're on top of it, so we don't have to deal with him again. So they should drop him.
The time travel stuff is so lazy. Okay.
It has gotten increasingly lazy. I will agree with that. I think they should pivot away from this. And there's a character waiting in the wings, what the fans want. You know what I'm going to say. Dr. Doom. It is time for Dr. Doom to enter the MCU, a famous antagonist of the Fantastic Four and some other superheroes. We, the fans, believe that Cillian Murphy should play him. I'm sure you also have other, let me know in the comments who your top choice is. This is, and I think even the plot line they wanted to adapt and have Kang be the villain in for these upcoming films is, from the comics, actually a Victor Von Doom storyline. So it's time for Doom. We're ready for Doom.
There's pictures of Jonathan Majors that come up. So it sounds like people are
talking about, like, it's time to make this substitution.
Okay, so I would say, as a more casual viewer...
Sorry, there's a lot of very highly specific knowledge on these subjects.
I mean, I would just say it seemed like it would be easy to write him out, because frankly, I don't know him as a Marvel character at all. I know him from his other work, but I don't... to me, it would have absolutely no effect on my reading.
He hasn't appeared in any of the major movies yet. Right. He was in the third Ant-Man movie.
So do you think that perhaps starts to explain why there was the choice to get rid of him, but not to get rid of Ezra Miller, who has been accused of a long list of diverse and serious things?
So... Yes, it's a different company, right? Ezra Miller's the DC
He's
universe.
DC. Okay, that's helpful.
Ezra Miller is, his character was not. The character was, the Flash is one of the team of superheroes.
But he had a movie.
So they did do a movie all around
even
him.
After the accusations, a full Flash movie, which wasn't bad.
Jonathan, we're in a lull right now. This all happened to Jonathan Majors. Basically, after they'd already filmed all the current stuff with Kang, and were planning to do more. So I don't know if the timeline for the Ezra Miller was you know what, let's just put this one out there. And I doubt they're going to make more stuff with him. But
you think?
They're abandoning that whole. I think all of those characters they're going to do they're not going to have Gal Gadot or Henry Cavill.
So the Flash movie came out this year.
Yeah.
It came out this year.
I know, but maybe they'd already made it.
Okay, but they have scrapped. There's been stories about any number of other movies that they did the whole series or the whole movie, and Netflix just decides not to put it out.
All right, then we can go this way. Ezra Miller got a pass because it's kind of intersectional queerness kind of stuff, and it's racism against Jonathan Majors.
That is definitely the argument that people are making.
I'll say the thing. There you
go. People are saying that Jonathan Majors being accused of
Ezra Miller was merely engaged in gender expression, Brianna.
Well, they both have been charged, accused of hitting women. And the argument, I think, goes something like the social context of Jonathan Majors doing so as a large black man is read differently as Ezra Miller doing so.
When Ezra Miller does it, they is just engaged in,
So
gender-based performance.
It's been a lot of stuff. I was trying to refresh my memory on all that they were accused of, and Miller was accused of choking a woman on video in a 2020 video that went viral. 2020, that happens. Movie comes out in 2023. Okay.
Yeah.
There was the grooming accusations.
There is a difference between Jonathan Majors was just convicted.
Right.
In court.
Yes.
There's a difference between just accused and convicted.
Yes.
I think it was correct for Marvel to not do anything with the actor or the character
until there was a conviction.
You had a conviction.
And I was looking, and I did not see any Ezra Miller convictions. Although I did see there were some. As of the article that was written a while ago, there were some pending charges out of an assault that I believe happened in Hawaii that just had not come to resolution yet.
The Wikipedia page for this stuff is very long, and there's some weird stuff here. But,
like what?
Okay, I'm just going to read this is from Wikipedia, so totally disregard if you think Wikipedia is all lies at all times. But this is a relationship with Tokata Iron Eyes, which is a person. According to a former resident of Miller, Ezra Miller had a farm in Vermont. Miller believed that people criticizing his relationship with this person, Iron Eyes, because she is an apocalyptic Native American spider goddess, who along with Miller as Jesus Christ will bring about an indigenous revolution. Miller allegedly refers to themselves as a messiah to Native Americans. Miller does not have indigenous ancestry.
Yeah, look.
Okay, what's the source for that is Vanity Fair.
That's
Ezra Miller's Messiah delusions inside the Flash star's dark spiral.
Yeah, look, there's a mother and child that took out an order of protection against Miller. And again, that grain of salt, no accusations yet. There's a woman in Germany that accused Miller of harassment. There's the grooming and manipulation allegations. I think this was from Miller's time in Iceland. He has put out statements saying they've been dealing with complex mental health issues, and that is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not swooping in here to try to Me Too Ezra Miller, but I don't think you're wrong, frankly, or whoever was raising these comparisons. I don't think that's unfair to wonder it is, again, it's two different companies.
Yeah.
So.
And I also think that Jonathan Majors is probably, he's out for Marvel, but he's probably not out for the count. There's many people who have been charged and convicted of domestic abuse in Hollywood who have come back. Sean Penn, very famously, not just beat up an anonymous person, but actually Madonna, and his career doesn't seem to have suffered really.
Yeah,
meaningfully.
and we haven't really, dealt with the substance of the accusation against Majors, which was this, domestic violence dispute. They did release recently some video footage of him and the then girlfriend kind of tussling in the street. It certainly didn't. And some people looked at it and said, "Oh, this acquits him because he's running away from her."
Yeah.
It certainly didn't. Yes, he was in fact running from her at one point. That earlier it did look like there was. I mean, frankly, it looked like there was just an altercation between them, and it was but that doesn't mean he's not guilty.
Sure. There was some audio that was going sort of viral over the weekend, in which he was engaged in what I would describe as controlling behavior, saying, "I need you to treat me and support me, back me up like I'm Martin Luther King, like Coretta Scott backed up these other great men." And, it wasn't a good look,
right.
But is that a crime? No, but apparently enough evidence was adduced for this trial to find that they
became physical with each other, but he's a very imposing, strong person. So anyway, but very interesting. It reminded me of the departure from Rick and Morty, of the voice of Rick and Morty earlier this year.
And people are saying this new season is one of the best seasons ever.
It was fantastic. I just finished it. I watched the season finale last night. It was fantastic, complete with a great Lost reference in the final episode.
All right, well, I have to finish it then myself, so maybe we can do another segment about
Be
pop
still
culture.
my beating heart. This has been the most fun we've had on the show all day. More Rising right after this.